Hi everyone and welcome back to the Analogue Wonderland YouTube channel. My name is Emma, I'm marketing assistant at Analogue Wonderland. You may have spoken to me on the phone, on the live chat feature of our website, or seen me behind the scenes of some of our social media channels. But today I am filling in from the infamous Paul Mackay with one of our film reviews. And today I will be talking about JCH Street Pan film. So let's get started.
Whether you are new to film photography or a long-time analog enthusiast, our channel covers all things film, from tips and tricks, film reviews to how-to videos. Subscribe now and keep those notifications turned on so that you never miss a beat. Happy shooting!
JCH Street Pan is a panchromatic black and white film. It has 36 exposures and a box speed of 400 ISO. The film is well known for its high contrast and grainy look. The images have an interesting charcoal result without losing the sharpness of the subject, and the emulsion is forgiving on exposure. The film also has near-infrared qualities. When paired with a dark red filter, you'll find that this high contrast film can also act infrared with high sensitivity in the infrared range. But before we go into more detail, let's chat a bit more about the JCH brand. So JCH, otherwise known as Japan Camera Hunter, was a brand founded in 2011 by Bellamy Hunt. Bellamy Hunt lives in Tokyo and film photography is his absolute passion. Bellamy Hunt being the camera hunter himself. Bellamy lives in Tokyo. He loves exploring the city, taking pictures and sharing his photographic knowledge with the community, and this is what drove him to start Japan Camera Hunter. So Bellamy has a brilliant website and blog that you should all check out, where he shares all sorts of tips and tricks from choosing film, development, photographic tips, ideas on cameras or what camera will be right for you. It's a really great resource. He also has a brilliant YouTube channel that is definitely worth checking out. So Bellamy says on his website, "I can find you the camera of your dreams. If that camera is unusual, old or hard to find, if you just have to have that lens or a camera and cannot possibly wait, then get in touch and I can make it happen for you." So as you all know, Japan has a big history of film. Bellamy is surrounded by film and all sorts of amazing shops with old and antique cameras, and he spent his time sourcing these rare and hard to find cameras for people, which sounds like so much fun. He's like a detective hunting down gems of cameras and Leicas and all sorts of things in top of the range mint condition. If you have a camera in mind that you desperately want and cannot find, Bellamy is the guy to get in touch with. So a bit more about JCH Street Pan film. It's characterised as being punchy and full of character. Bellamy announced that he was launching his own film back in 2016. He knew he wanted a film similar to the sorts of films he shot himself, high contrast with a bit of grain, monochrome, the films he typically shot. But he knew he couldn't introduce a completely new emulsion. So he decided to go with a discontinued surveillance film that was actually originally made by Agfa. And that is how JCH Street Pan film came to life. So this is a reborn film. It is not a respooled film that is still being sold. It's not an old stock film from a pancake back in a warehouse. It is an old emulsion that has been freshly produced and Jeremy has brought back to life. So a bit more about the film. It is a versatile panchromatic film that has quickly gained a loyal following amongst particularly street photographers. The film is available in 35mm and 120. Photographers in general say they love its high contrast and high grain feel. Its high speed and just its general aesthetic makes it a really popular choice for street photography. Street photography is one of my favourite things to do. I love photo walks. I love capturing spontaneous moments that you maybe wouldn't notice unless you had a camera, but when you're out on a photo walk, you spot these little intricacies or interesting moments happening as you're passing by, and you need a high-speed film that can cope to capture that moment spontaneously. So this sounds like a really ideal film for that, and the high contrast and grainy feel is just going to add to that whole urban street photography vibe. So I really can't wait to pick up a roll of this. Due to its sensitivity to red light, JCH is also well suited for dawn, dusk and winter photography. So we are coming out of the winter months now, but we are living in the UK, so that is always good to know. It will probably be suitable for us absolutely all year round. Its speed and, bear with me, this is a new word for me, sensitometric qualities. So sensitometry is the scientific study of light sensitive materials, especially photographic film. So these qualities make the film extremely suitable for low light and low sun angle photography. So photos with long shadow areas. So it's great for wide latitude, photographic exposure, low light. So that's good to keep in mind, especially if you're not an early riser like me. Maybe you prefer to do your photo walks in the evening, who knows? It's definitely good to keep in mind. If you have a look at the canister, you can see they are DX coded. They also have the little tick boxes so you can indicate to your lab what exposure you shot it at. This goes all the way from 200 to 1600 ISO. And JCH Street Pan can be exposed as a 200 to 500 ISO film. And of course the image contrast can be controlled with how you process it. In the product description on Japan Camera Hunter's website, it says it can be processed as a low contrast film for good weather photography and as a medium contrast film for bad weather photography. I guess that depends where you live. In the UK, our good weather may be bad weather to some other people, but keep that in mind. Know that you have that flexibility to shoot it at different exposures if you want to. So a bit more technical info about the infrared qualities of the film. So the spectral sensitivity of JCH Street Pan is extended to the near infrared range on the energy spectrum. So the near infrared sensitivity and the strong response the film has to red light allows for nocturne red flash photography as well as daylight photography. So it's a really versatile film. You have a lot to play with. If you haven't tried infrared photography before, this might be a good one to try, as it's sort of that middle ground between traditional films and infrared films. It's a really good thing to know that you have that flexibility to experiment, especially when pairing the film with filters. You could get some really interesting shots. JCH Street Pan offers excellent penetration through haze and fog and other atmospheric conditions, which are liable to affect the image quality. So that's also another great factor to know, especially if you're living in the UK, where some foggy conditions can happen from time to time. So let's get into what our customers had to say about the film. There's a lot of reviews for this film, a lot of great photos, so if you need some inspiration, definitely head to the product page of our website. So the reviews are very positive in general. It is described as a great film, but it needs some TLC and to be careful when exposing it. So customers were surprised by the extent of the contrast, but for me, I love a contrasty film. That would be a very happy surprise. But one customer in particular suggested metering for the shadows to avoid underexposure. So that's a really good tip when shooting this film. Another review described JCH Street Pan as giving a dark and moody atmosphere to the images. It has a sharp, fine grain and is contrasty, but again, requires careful metering to stop all the dark tones rapidly running to an impenetrable black. One customer was really quite pleased with the results, which is great to hear, but also said he was forewarned by internet wisdom and exposed it at 200 ISO, but he still gave it the recommended development time as for 400. So that's something to bear in mind in carefully choosing the ISO you're going to shoot this film at, and if it's going to be suitable for the weather and the conditions you're shooting in. So overall, a great black and white film to add to your film photography repertoire. I'm really excited to pick a roll of this up. It sounds like a great choice for the next photo walk, maybe the next She Hearts film walk. You'll catch me with some Japan camera hunter film. We look forward to seeing what you get up to with your rolls. Please drop your reviews on the website so we can see your photos and what you get up to. And remember, we have our monthly photo competition that you can also submit your entries to. I hope I've done an okay job filling in for Paul. Hope you've enjoyed this review. If you've got any other comments or tips and tricks to share about this film, please drop them below. And in the meantime, happy shooting, and I'll see you next time. Bye.